Good morning. Doesn't want to let me type in my own chat. All right. So this morning I'm going to be working on some piecing. I've got some fat quarters that I got in the mail yesterday. Good morning, Kathy. How are you today? Figured I'd go on a few minutes early this morning. Working on the fat quarters I got yesterday from So Yeah. Cutting them up, putting them together, turning them into something else. That's what we do, right? We cut fabric apart and put it back together in little pieces. Hey, Colleen, how are you today? Everybody bright-eyed and bushy-tailed? I'd be good. I'd be good. He had to go into his work meeting, so I figured I'd go ahead and go on. Start getting some things done. I got to move furniture later today so I can get my Cricut over here. What you working on today? Anything specific? I want to do my Farm Girl Vintage, that last block that I have to do. Well, 2 blocks. The churn dash and the old red barn so I can get caught up. Still slouching in bed? My mom used to call that sobbing in, Laura. What were you up late doing? Something fun, I hope. What's the matter this morning, Colleen? You sleepy? So this is what I worked on yesterday. See if you can see that up there. Yeah, that's what I got finished yesterday with Simple Star and Autumn Star. I got 2 pieces for this ladybug quilt. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. I don't know. What machine is a piece of junk, Colleen? Have you cleaned it, changed its needle, etc. lately? They work better if you give them a little TLC here and there. Mine's looking for oil and bobbins today. That's those fat quarters that I got yesterday that I was like, what am I going to do with these? That's what I'm doing with them. I made it, I name it. What kind of machine is it, Colleen? Well, I don't know what else to call this except a ladybug quilt. I mean, it's got all these ladybug fat quarters in it. And I just used the random stuff that was in my fat quarters that I got from. So, yeah, I guess I must have bought a mystery pack because I know I don't buy ladybug fabric, isn't usually what I look for. But it's kind of cute. I'll do it randomly. What kind of brother is it, Colleen? I would choose to wear black on a live, right? While I'm sewing with white thread. End up wearing it all. Good morning, Shirley. Just listening, huh? That's fine. We don't mind. We don't mind at all. Yeah, I get up fairly early too. Just depends if I've had a rough night or not. Last night wasn't bad, but I did take pain meds to go to sleep. I remember laying there thinking, gee, I wish I'd go to sleep, and then I was waking it up. You don't look up what kind of machine you got? Okay. Hey, Brandy, how are you this morning? Trying to get this so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I just cut up a couple of fat quarters into 5-inch squares and then 2.5 by 5-inch strips. And then sewing them together. I guess I'm going to make a quilt top out of them. A CP60X. Okay. What is it doing? That lighting makes this fabric look all washed out. I still haven't figured out the lighting issues completely. Colleen, have you tried cleaning the machine? Changing the needle? Yep, I thought so. Broke my thread. Got to rethread my machine. Thank you, Kathy. Did you check and make sure your bobbins wound right? Oh, so they give you a night off and you don't know what to do with yourself, Brandy. You can't figure out how to sleep. That sounds familiar. I used to manage, well, convenience stores and then, well, pizza places and then convenience stores. With the pizza places, I usually worked the night shift. When I went to convenience stores before I finally went back to college and got smart, it was a whole different thing because you had to be up and at the store like 4 or 5 in the morning. So you've done all that stuff and your machine's still acting up. Are you sure you've got the right bobbin in there? I have 3 brother machines and 3 different sizes of bobbins for them. Leave It to Beaver. Wow, that is old. I don't even think that was on TV when I was a kid, Kathy. much older than me, maybe a minute or two. I remember watching Voltron the Destroyer. I think it was a couple of big robots. I watched them every morning before school. Not always. So that's the blocks I just sewed together. Wow, if I could talk this morning. So I'll put those over there. Are you laughing at me saying you're only a minute or two older than me or something else, Kathy? I just picking. Hopefully when you guys see this space later, like over the weekend. Oh, I remember black and white TV. I remember being the remote control and having 3 channels. Am I the only one who remembers party lines? I think the worst trouble I got into as a kid was we had a party line, and every time, number one, I wasn't allowed to use the phone much. Somebody said that the other day, and I thought, yeah. But the worst trouble I got into as a little kid was I picked up the phone one day. I don't remember what I was going to do, maybe call my mom at work or something. And there was an older lady, probably younger than I am now, who lived up the street, and she was on the phone. And I said, goodness, Miss Dixie, you're always on the phone talking to somebody. Well, you know, I got my bottom blistered for that, right? Had to go get my own switch and everything. Oh, yeah. Party lines were interesting. Did you ever get in trouble for interrupting a grown-up on a party line? And now everybody's got their own phone in their pocket. Including the little kids. What kind of trouble could I have caused as a kid if I had a phone in my pocket? And I think when I was little, before I was about 12, the only times I got in trouble were for sass. Sassed my babysitter, sassed the neighbor, I sassed a teacher. Told that old bat of a teacher what I thought of her too. You're so mean to everybody. I don't know why you think you can get away with it. Are you saying no, you never got in trouble? Is that what you're telling me, Kathy? You were a good kid? Somehow I don't believe that. Your mama liked the oldies. My mama was, I don't know, 16, 17 when I was born. She was young. So she was into all the same music and stuff that I liked. I do remember her dancing around to the Eagles and the Bay City Rollers and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, I sassed my mom. I just ran out of bobbin thread. Colleen will be back in a minute. Uh-oh. Okay, Colleen, you go do your thing. Looky, I have a bobbin. I have a bobbin. I have a bobbin. It's pretty good most of the time, except I had a mouth on me. I think most little kids did, especially compared to what they do. Miss Sassy. Yeah, okay. You ain't saying sassy. I brought a few people to tears with my mouth, though, but I think we all have that too. The girl kept running her mouth and running her mouth, and trying to be kinder, gentler. Melissa, I was like, keep your mouth shut, keep your mouth shut, keep your mouth shut. And we were all out one night doing karaoke. So we were at a bar and we were drinking. Terrible thing. But she kept running her mouth and kept running her mouth and making little digs. And finally, I floored that little girl. She said, I don't believe you just said that. I said, Don't you ever sass me again. She didn't either. She was afraid I'd beat her up again. You put your sister... Kathy put her sister in the dryer and turned it on. Did she come out wrinkle-free? Did she get hurt? I hope not. Did it spin with your sister in it? I mean, is the dryer thing powerful enough to do that? Hey, Christine, how are you today? Ooh, you got a day off today, so you get to play with your sewing machine. Yay! I'm still wanting to hear if Kathy's sister was permanently damaged, or if Kathy had to do laundry for the rest of the year. Oh yeah, that's why I stayed with brother for a long time too. Was because I have all the feet you could ever want for a brother. I bought one of those packs a few years ago that has 30 or 40 or 50 feet in it. When my mom was little, her brothers treed her. They ran her through the woods and treat her like a possum. Still waiting to hear if Kathy's sister survived her trip through the dryer. How old was your sister if you were only 3? Oh, when my mom's brothers treed her, they broke her collarbone, cutting her down out of the tree. Hey, Lynn, how are you this morning? Just stopped for a cup of tea. Is that what that does? She was a year old. Wow, Kathy. Take it you weren't overly fond of that new sibling, huh? My cousin's wife posted yesterday. Apparently, their newborn little boy has now outgrown, I guess they have a walk-in play kind of thing. He has outgrown it. So she posted pictures yesterday. That's not cool. Of Atlas is the baby's name. Said she was taking a shower and she was walking along, looks down, and there's Atlas smiling up at her from right outside the shower. And she thought, oh, well, that's kind of cool that he managed to climb out of that, although it was scary. And then what came up in her Facebook memories this morning was when his older sister did the same thing at the same age. His older sister is 9 now, so she had kind of forgotten that happened. So I guess her babies are just natural born climbers. Gonna be scared when they start climbing out of stuff like that. Lynn, I got some fat quarters in the mail yesterday from a mystery pack from So Yeah. And I was like, what am I going to do with these? So I chopped them up into pieces and now I'm sewing them back together. I cut 5-inch pieces from the ladybugs themselves. And then I cut 2.5-inch strips by 5 inches from the coordinating fabrics or whatever's close enough to coordinate. And I'm just sewing them together. I'm going to make a little quilt top. You come from a big family? That's what happens when you have a bunch of kids, though. Things are crazy. My mom's mother had 10 kids and her dad had 7 more after they divorced. So I have tons of cousins and stuff. Sometimes it feels like I was raised with a crap ton of brothers and sisters, although I only have one of each. My brother has 4 kids. I have 2 plus my 4 stepdaughters. Yep, we cut fabric up and sew it back together. And then my sister, whose ex-husband just passed, she posted pictures of the funeral of her with all the kids. And of course, he had children before she married him. And they had a crap ton of kids. I think he had 9 kids, including a 3-year-old. And he has kids older than my sister's son, who is 31 this year. 9 of you, Lynn? Wow. Yeah, my mom she told stories about being a kid and not having treats and stuff. She was very upset about that as a child. I need a lint roller, guys, just so I can keep the thread off of me. I usually wear an apron when I sew, but I didn't put one on the last few days. Wasn't such a big deal when I was wearing a blue shirt yesterday. But wearing this black one, it's like, yeah. I think I'm avoiding what I need to do next, which is move furniture. I want to move that desk that's over behind me up here next to me so I can put the Cricut on it and play with it. But haven't got that far yet. And Lynn, where do you fit in that 9 kids list? Are you the oldest or somewhere in the middle? Daisy, what are you doing? She's scavenging. She's trying to see if she can find herself something to eat, which is Daisy's full-time job. She went out this morning and was fighting with the neighbor or whoever it was that was out there in a car. The people who own the property down behind us, they raise Wagyu beef. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but apparently one cow is worth like 30 grand. Oh, wow. You have a brother, then 6 girls, and then two more boys. Oh my, third youngest. I'm the oldest in my crowd of my brothers and sisters, anyway. Brother and sister. Now, my sister has a different father than I do. And my sister just recently met her dad. I remembered him from when we were little, but we hadn't seen him in quite a few years. And I blame that on my mom, not anybody else. But she apparently is the oldest of 19 from her dad. Now, that includes her. Her dad also has a couple of stepkids that he claims. So all of a sudden, my baby sister is the oldest of 19. Good morning, Lori. Hey, Vicki, how are you this morning? I knew I saw somebody else come in. I'm playing with ladybugs, putting them together. Trying not to do it too fast because then I have to work on Farm Girl Vintage. I have to do that one. We all know how much I want to do that one. Kathy. I need to sit down and read those blocks though and make some changes to what's in that pattern. So that it makes more sense for me. And I already know that I have a date with the seam ripper later. I've got one of these little groupings of my ladybug blocks that I can't get to fit together. So I'm pretty sure I put something in the wrong spot or turned it wrong. I figured I'd go ahead and get everything sewn together. And then maybe I'd be able to figure out what did I do. You've got a seam rip too, Kathy? Yeah, some of those blocks are, it's not necessarily that they're hard because they're simple blocks. It's just confusing the way they have you put them together. It's what I think is actually the problem. Good for you, Lynn. The other thing you can do if you're just starting out on free motion, well, even if you're not just starting out, is doodle. Like get a piece of paper and a pencil and doodle. And doodle like you're actually working on a quilt. So if you get yourself caught into a corner, you can figure out how to get yourself out without it being on fabric and thread. But the biggest thing is to have fun. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Cindy. Good morning from Portland, Oregon. Oh, good morning, Beverly Davis. Yeah, that's one of the other things I would like to do this weekend is hubby's friend is going to come over, and I'm hoping that maybe I can convince them to put together a couple of quilt sandwiches for me. I can do them if they're small, but once they get past a certain size, I need help. And in my house, that means that Wayne's going to do it. A buffalo check with line works. Ooh, that sounds cool. I know, who was it that did a buffalo check tutorial? Erica Arndt, maybe? I was checking that one out a while back when she was putting it together. I'd like to try to do a buffalo check, but I have so many other things on my list. Trying to remember. Oh, Lois Dawn was talking about that secondhand clothes quote yesterday. So I looked it up. Looks like it would be fun. Oh, cool, Lynn. Very cool. Once you get past being intimidated by free motion quilting, or don't let yourself be intimidated by free motion quilting. Good morning, Teresa Louise. Because it really is just doodling on fabric. Now, what Teresa does with a long arm is, a whole different category, but I'm not quilting to sell. Teresa, why don't you do that anyway? Why don't you record yourself long arming, or you just don't have a way? Yeah. Maybe that's what this quilt is a break for me, because those Farm Girl vintage blocks are. Oof. And the chicken salad that I'm working on is requiring me to use software that I've never used before. So I spend a lot of time staring at that going, now, how do I get from here to here? Teaching myself how to digitize isn't as easy as, well, I didn't think it would be easy, but it's not easy. Takes more brain power than I got. Yeah, Lynn, it's only fabric and it's only thread. Good morning. I just said your name, Lois. How are you today? I do want to do that secondhand clothes quilt. It looks like it could be pretty simple, but fun. I think I'll be lucky if this turns out to be a baby quilt. It's probably going to be something different. Let's see. I do this. This is why I said I was probably going to have a date with a seam ripper. But, oh, very cool, Teresa. I'll have to look for those. Tiff did a stars and loops and stars this morning. I didn't watch the whole thing yet. I just watched part of it. But I'm sure I will spend more time on that. Oh no, Christine, I have a Flourish too that'll do embroidery. I guess it's set up so you can do embroidery or sewing on it, but I just want to embroider with it. But I got the Embrilliant software and the Simply applique because I want to try to do that with the chicken salad quilt. Oh yeah, denim's great for a quilt, especially if you use it as a backing. Hi Nancy, how are you? Are you looking to do the top and the back in denim, Christine, or just one part of it? The poor brother's site will never be the same. Colleen just went and ranted all over it. Just the top. You could do that. I did I'm looking to see if it's over there, a carpenter star on one side with fabric, and I didn't put any batting in. And then on the back side, I put denim as the backing. And I think I used denim yardage because I got it at the thrift store, like one of those rolls of stuff. But denim could be, you're just doing, that's not good, Nancy. You could piece denim. I don't see why not. You just need a heavier duty needle. Use one of those jeans needles and maybe a slightly bigger seam, like do 1/2 inch instead of 1/4 inch. Much nicer than they deserved. Hopefully it just comes down to you need to switch out your bobbin, Colleen. At least I hope so. All right, so these are the scraps I had left from playing with my don't do that. Did I lose you guys? Can you still hear me? Is the sound still on? I hope so. So these are my little scraps that I had left from those fat quarters. And I have some, anytime, Christine. I'm just going off of what's worked for me in the past. You can still hear me? Okay, good. When I went to grab these pieces from the corner, I grabbed the edge of the plug for the microphone. And I was afraid maybe I had messed it up. So this is what I got. Yeah, rag quilts are really pretty in denim. Am I the only one who just scraps those stuff together? Really, machine? There we go. Let's see. Hubby's on his weekly work meeting, so I'm trying to talk over him. So y'all don't have to listen to that. They get in there, and on Fridays, it's all craziness for them because everybody's trying to get everything finished before the weekend. All right. Is that a Jacob's ladder behind me? Hold on a second. That is a triple Irish chain. Or excuse me, a single Irish chain. Not the only one scrapping. It's a single Irish chain. I made it because I wanted to make the triple Irish chain with Kathy. Yeah, I don't know why my screen froze. Good morning, Judy. Yeah, and I've got this little piece of, oh, it's still frozen. Thank you. I may have finally gotten my refill issue figured out, Colleen. I'm hopeful anyway. Is it still doing that now? Hopefully it's caught up. Yeah, there's Daisy. I think she wants me to let her go outside, and I'm just not in the mood right this minute. Yeah, I usually will sew some scrappy pieces together, and then either I keep sewing them together until I have a block, or I sew them onto the bigger pieces I have floating around. And eventually all those bigger pieces floating around become another quilt, whether they go together or not. My name is Practically Create. So I like things that you can use. Pretty is nice, but I definitely want it to be usable first. Okay. Yeah, Colleen, if you decide you want to make an Irish chain, you're supposed to have 57 different fabrics for the scrappy version. So you definitely want to hang on to all those little pieces and parts that you get. And maybe even start a little box for it or something. I think Kathy used a couple of jelly rolls, and I used a jelly roll in mine, but I only did a 3-color. Oh yeah, Kathy. Lori Holt's fabric is expensive. That's why I'm trying to use all the bits and pieces of that. And we're going to go hardcore on that next week. Once I have the Cricut up and running, because I need to show you guys how to do the block by hand, in case you don't have a Cricut. But my hands are not going to hold for doing a block by hand. Yeah, 57 is a lot. Let's see. Just trying to figure out what's on my desk here for scraps. I have all those little half square triangles, but I am saving those for the Farm Girl Vintage so that I can put them on there. And I just finger press these as I go. I don't care. So that when I go to the next thing, I have them. How big are the pieces for what, Lynn? For the Farm Girl Vintage or the triple Irish chain? You can pretty much do whatever size you like. The pattern I have calls for 2 1/4 inch strips. I did 2.5, and my block was supposed to finish around 12 3/4. FGB is Farm Girl Vintage, Beverly. It's a quilt so long that we're doing on Kathy's channel. And that's a Lori Holt quilt that she's doing. And I'm doing Chicken Salad, which is also a Lori Holt quilt. But I'm doing mine a little different. They picked blocks for the Farm Girl Vintage to sew up, and I'm going to do the whole Chicken Salad quilt. That's where I'm aiming for. Oh, the Irish chain, yeah, needs depends on the size, how many actual strips you need. For mine, I used all but about 10 strips of a jelly roll, and I was making the baby size. It's going to turn out to be way bigger than the baby size when I'm done. I'm still working on I'm trying to see where I put it because I'm still working on the corner of the Seminole border for that. Here it is. This is way bigger than a baby quilt. This is my triple Irish chain. Like I said, I've got 2 corners done now, and I have 2 corners left to finish. And Shirley, Ms. Around to it there, was going to do a video on how to build these corners, but I'm doing them myself. Yeah, 2 corners done and 2 corners left to finish. The corners are the hardest part for me because I don't understand the instructions that are in that book. But that is all but about 10 strips of a single jelly roll. Hi, Tracy. Yeah, I'm trying to go live on Thursday and Friday around 11 so that, well, number one, so I'm not walking on anybody else. And number 2, so that I do a regular, I don't know who that was, a regular live. So you know when to look for me. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. And I did try to work on those corners on a live. Nope, I don't understand it in writing. I for sure am not going to understand it while I'm trying to be on a live and talk to people. Thank you, thank you. I am hoping to get it done. One of my stepdaughters is due in June, and I'd like to get that one done and put together because I think that that's what I'm going to make for the baby quilt for her. I don't know. Don't count on it, Vicki, if you're watching. It's a little more subtle than that, Colleen. I did try to keep a dark, a medium, and a light in it so that you would get the X out of it when it's done. But when it comes right down to it, I really don't care if the X shows. I just want to get the quilt done. And I have a feeling that I will be listing my triple Irish chain block or book somewhere for sale. Because I don't know that I ever want to make another. But I'm certainly glad that I didn't do like Kathy and start out doing, what size are you doing, Kathy? A queen? You're getting the runaround on your grant to go to school? That's not good. Did you apply for the Pell Grant? Is that what you're getting the runaround on, Kathy? And then I'm just going to finger press my little pieces that I sewed together open and then figure out what I want to sew together next. Hillary's video on mitered borders from Missouri Star. I'll look for it. The book has instructions for how to do it, Tracy. But what it had me do was sew my strips together, cut them, put all the strips in long rows, cantilevered or whatever you want to call that. And then it tells you to take 3 pieces off of the strips that you cut and put together and then turn them into something else. That is where I lost it. So I had a little piece of a strip left. So I've been cutting that and then turning it into Thank you, Colleen. And turning that into the corner pieces. But the first time I did the corner pieces, the angle wasn't right on the blocks. So I have literally been laying it out block by block with my corner flat and laying it down and then sewing them in one block at a time, which is a pain because you got to do two seams. I will look for it for sure, because anything that'll help me get this done, I'd appreciate. I really want to quilt this stuff and get it off my desk here, because I've got I'm at 30 quilts that need to be quilted, so I want to get some of this stuff done so I don't have to look at it anymore. As you can see, I'm just making my little stack of stuff that I sewed together. And I'm not worrying about which side I'm pressing to. Thank you, Nancy. That was cute. Something different. This is just literally scraps I had sitting on my desk here. Like I said, I don't know what they're going to get turned into, but they'll get turned into something. Maybe I'll turn them into the back for my next pocket bag that I'm making an imitation of Teresa Louise. Hi, Teresa. She was showing hers yesterday, and apparently that is where I got my inspiration from. Oh, thank you, Brandy. But anyway, so Teresa was showing her floss wallets. Is that what you call them, Teresa? She may have already headed out because it's pretty early for her. She was showing her floss wallets and stuff yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's really cute. That is where I got the idea from, I'm pretty sure. My co-defendant. Oh, my. I don't know if I like that one, Kathy. You like being my co-defendant? And then I'm just going to take these. Made March 11, 2022. I don't think on YouTube you can do that. Is there somebody who has the same name as me? Yeah, Teresa's floss wallets are cool. And I like the ones with the pockets in the front. That wasn't what she was talking about, Kathy. And now I just go through and fiddle. If something's the same length, maybe I'll put it together. Maybe I won't. Darlene Michaud does this too sometimes. She calls it crumb quilting. And the first time I saw her do it, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I sat down and crumb quilted a whole bunch of stuff for myself too. So that was where my first crumb quilt came from. And those end up being the ones that I give people to use for their dogs or to drag around for taking the kids to the park, throw them on the ground, picnic quilts. I do not know. My sewing machine obviously doesn't like this thread this morning, which is really weird because it's the thread that it told me it liked when I first got it. Am I the only one who talks to my sewing machine? I can't be. If you click the dots, you should go to the channel for the person whose dots you click. Who are you talking about? Kathy, did you make a second channel? That's bizarre. Teresa, yours looks normal. I think so too, Teresa. That's what I was just looking at. That's bizarre. Kathy, did you have to sign in or do something weird to get onto YouTube today or yesterday or recently? Yeah, Lynn. I talked to my sewing machine. I talked to my dog. Thank goodness for YouTube. I see it too, Colleen. That's a little weird. Like I said, I wonder if Kathy had to sign in or she did something whenever she set up Zoom. Colleen, you cussed out your machine and its manufacturer. As you can see, I'm being really persnickety about how I put stuff together here. I don't care if it touches the wrong thing, if it hangs off a little here and there. I usually will trim them off at about 9 inches, I guess. See, like this is about half. I'll probably end up getting a 10-inch square out of this somehow. Huh. That's really strange, Teresa. I think that predates when I think we only got you on Zoom this last week, right, Kathy? I will definitely pay attention to that the next time I'm in chat and sharing channels. See if it happens with anybody else's stuff. And as you can tell, my sewing machine has decided to act up today. Maybe it's telling me it wants to be cleaned early. Oh, good morning, Kim. You can't be late to a live. That is absolutely bizarre, Kathy. Let's see, I want to put one more. Kim is not feeling good. She took cold meds, she said. That's not good. Good morning, Polly. I think everybody I know right now has colds or just in general doesn't feel great. Oh, Kathy, I got a message from Miss Ellen this morning through YouTube. Said she wants to do a live with us one time. I think that would be fun. What do you think? Teresa Louise, what do you think causes that? Hello. Is it afternoon where you're at, Polly? Are you in the UK also? My thread is acting up. Let's start this over again. There we go. Thank God it's just a cold and not the plague. That's some nasty stuff. Sorry, trying to tie a knot. Ta-da, I did it. Co-conspirator. So Kathy, I missed it if you answered me. It would be fun, yeah. I have a feeling Miss Ellen's about as crazy as we are. That would probably be a lively chat. I believe that I lost my train. Colleen just did, Kathy. Post your link, I mean. Yes, ma'am, Susan, this is live. Including all the thread that is all over me. How are you today? We're all just hanging out, chit-chatting. I'm doing a little sewing of scraps that were on my sewing table. I have a bunch of blocks that I cut up yesterday from some fat quarters I got in the mail. I got those all sewn up, but I need to do some seam ripping before I go any further. And so I thought I'd clear some of the scraps off my table, sew them into a little block for later. I can do laundry, Kim, and bring it in and put it away. And I swear you pull something clean out of the drawer and hubby will have threads on his socks. Hi, Marianne. And this is what I just sewed up from those little scrappy pieces. It isn't pretty, but you tried, but it wouldn't work for you. That's really bizarre, Kathy. And yes, Kathy, you do need to learn how to post links. Yeah, that desperately needs to be ironed, doesn't it? And then this is what I've got left of the little pieces I sewed up, which is a little stack of 2 pieces. Then I've got some other little longer pieces. Let's see what we can do with them. But like I said, I sew those up and then keep sewing them up until I'm tired of it. Oh yeah, we're more fun. Colleen, be nice. Teresa gave you a wrench yesterday, but she can take it away. Then you'll be crying, I want a wrench. I want a wrench. Yes, organizing does equal procrastinating, Marianne. There's nothing wrong with that. I need to go organize my kitchen today. You're trying to clear your room so your hands, I quilted, might fit. Oh, handy quilter. Lucky you, Suzanne. Oh my. I can't wait to see what you do with that long arm. That'll be fun. Ah, I do that too, Lynn. I don't always sew them. Sometimes I just spray baste them all down. All the little bits and pieces of batting. I'm pairing up my little pieces that I sewed together. Maybe I'll sew them together in a minute. Just keep making slightly bigger pieces until I create something. It's okay, Susan. I got what you meant. I just had to read the rest of it. So did you buy, which handy quilter did you buy, Susan? I'm nosy, obviously. You have tape, that's much quicker. Yeah, that's probably a great idea. Do you use painter's tape or do you use like hem tape you can iron together? I'm nosy. Hi, Marie. How are you today? And Marie, it looks like you got my note about the quilt pattern. It was secondhand clothes. Colin, you come to mine. Organize, declutter to your heart's content. Nosy, nosy, nosy. Melissa be nosy. Oh, I see how it is, Marie. The Moxie on an 8-foot. That's awesome. I have sitting over here beside me a Grace Cutie frame. And I got it when I bought my Juki. And when I first got it and I was trying to free motion quilt on it, I kept having tension issues with the Juki. So I took the Juki off of the frame, figured I'd learn the Juki, figure out the tension issues. And I think I've learned the Juki now, so I'm about ready to put mine back on the frame. Oh, awesome. Botting seam tape. Said I've never heard of it, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't be something great to use. Let's see, I'm gonna put this on here. I've heard of lots of different ways to join batting. I watched one girl who actually sits down and zigzag sews her batting together. Apparently her church people or her quilt guild all give her their scraps or their unfinished quilts or batting or whatever. I think I'm glad I don't have anybody doing that to me because I don't know where I'd keep them. Kim, Colleen is always wound. Oh, Marie, 50 cents. I have old needles and stuff that my mom and my grandma had. And the prices on them are just like, wow. 39 cents for a whole pack of needles. Use zigzag batting, that's cool. You may be batting, Colleen. So while Colleen and Kathy are trying to figure out everything, ooh, the 9th block, you're already there? Wow. Does it just iron down, Lynn? Oh, Lynn, I have a really, really dumb question for you. I have seen Debbie Shore use her sewing machine, and it doesn't seem to have a foot pedal on it. She just pushes a button on it and it goes. Is that typical for machines in the UK and or Europe? Or is that just the one that Debbie happens to have? I told you it was a dumb question. I'm always interested in how things work in other places. Oh, Colleen, I love you. Awesome, Susan. So you made anything out of that box yet? Your brother has the option to push a button and sew? I think my brother might have had that option. Oh, okay. So it's okay. It's an accommodation. It's not the way things work. That's good to know. Y'all don't beat up on my cutting skills today. What did you get to replace the 1850, Tracy? Oh, so maybe it's not special. It just happens to be the way her machine's set up, is what it sounds like. I think embroidery machines, that's pretty common on. Oh, come on, Teresa. You don't want to hang out naked with everybody all day? Oh, did I say that? Wow. Sorry, Teresa. Teresa's in Iowa, and it is like 7:30 or 8:30 for her. So she's probably sitting at her table in her dressing gown having a cup of coffee. Your machine has that button, Kathy? That's awesome. Are you using your left foot to run it right now, or some other way to sew? Just because I'm nosy and curious. Should I call it nosy? Hey, Tracy, you don't want to see me without a bra? You do have a robot and you're in Idaho. I have friends in Iowa, which is why I keep trying to put you in Iowa. Maybe they are in Idaho. Jerome? Oh, come on, Lynn. My husband is still like, I can't believe you said that on live. I have to look. Where is Kelly Sue? Now I'm nosy. Let's see. Kelly Sue. Oh, I'm mad at Beverly Davis, by the way. calling her quilt ugly. That isn't right. Kelly, where do you live? Jerome, Idaho. She's in Idaho. How far is that from you, Teresa? Oh, is that what it is? I don't know. I just kind of figured that we were all looking to hook up with somebody to talk to. But think about it, Colleen. I can literally hear my Southern mother turning in her grave. Your quilt's not ugly, Beverly. It's very pretty. And it was done with love by you. You may make prettier quilts in the future, but that one's not ugly just because it's not as pretty as the future ones. I'm sitting here sewing scraps together. And these scraps will probably end up in a quilt, and it won't be a pretty quilt. It will just be a quilt. Okay, Brandy, that's fine. Marianne, your brother and sister-in-law's old house has ghosts? Cool. I don't mind ghosts for the most part. My mom still comes and hangs out sometimes. Oh, wow, Teresa, that's awesome. Well, my friends, Kelly Sue and Marty, moved from New York State to Jerome, Idaho a couple of years ago. And right about the time they moved, they found out that he had cancer and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he is currently in remission. They have 6 kids, and she is studying to be, or may already have graduated. She's studying to be a paraprofessional with special ed kids. And she's really good at it. Some of the things that she does, I think I would have never thought of doing that for that child. She specializes in the nonverbal and severely challenged. She calls it something different, but that's what I always think of when she talks about it. And she's really, really, really good at it. Eight geckos, they're all alive. Yay, Kim, you're doing good. Oh, lovely, Lois. That's always helpful. Mine is, they got cut by the company that is putting in electric lines to the neighbor's house. And the cable company is fighting with the electric company or whoever dug the lines to get the repairs paid for. So right now, our cable line is laying on the ground, just like you'd run a cable from one room to another, wrapped around a fence up the road. I'm like, the deer and the whatever that likes to chew on electric wires are going to get my stuff. All right, so we have 1 block from the scrappy crud and 2 block from the scrappy crud. What do you think? And that's just from the scraps. I mean, I could work it into the quilt or put it on the back or take all these little pieces and put them on the back. Do you think your Bible's going to make that machine work? Colleen, you need to change the bobbin out and see if that helps. Because I'm betting it's something simple. But yeah, putting the Bible there can't hurt either. So hopefully when you guys see my room next week, it'll be a whole lot cleaner than it is right now. Shirley, that's awesome. So she went to school for about 400 years, right? Like I said, my friend is so good at it. I just am astounded. They have 6 kids, and I think some of their children may have had some issues, but I don't know what would train you to be able to come up with the things she comes up with. They must teach it in college. And I promise you, as a paralegal, they don't teach you anything applicable to the job in college. They literally didn't. I left college and my boss, the first guy that hired me, was, he's like, oh, good. I don't have to unteach bad habits. And that's why he hired me, because he didn't have to unteach anything. Apparently, he had hired a girl in between me and the one that actually had been with him for years. And the girl in between us, every time I ran across anything that she did, I would just go, oh, that was Gloria. And then I would do everything absolutely opposite. Is your daughter the legal assistant for her husband, or is she a legal assistant for someone else and just happens to be married to an attorney? Yeah, Marianne, I've seen too many things not to believe that there's something. My mom died in 2004, and I met my husband in 2013. We got together in 2014. But he had already contracted to buy a piece of property out here near where we live. And we were going back and forth from that property for several years, just going the routes he knew, because this is pretty remote. So I never really thought about what might be around it. Okay, Lynn, you have a great night. Get some sleep. So the property, we finally one day, we were looking for another convenience store that someone told us was near. And so we went a different route to go back towards our hometown. And when we turned and went down this other road, we came to the corner and I looked. It was like 5 minutes from the place that he had bought. And I looked and I said, my mother's buried right there. My mother is buried in a cemetery that's very remote. It's like 30, 40 minutes out from town. It's literally 5 minutes from our current house. But I had no idea that it was anywhere close until after he had bought that property out here. So there was something at work to make sure that I moved close enough to go visit my mother's grave regularly. And I think my mom probably had influence on that. And it's hilarious because my husband and I will both, if we lose something, we'll both sit here and go, okay, Mom, where'd you put it? He was looking for his glasses the other night, and this happens regularly. He takes them off and puts them down because he doesn't need them for everything, just basically for reading or computer work. So he's walking through the house, and I said, they're on the kitchen table, or they're on the table. And he said, no, I've already looked there. He goes to the bathroom, he goes back to the kitchen, he comes back through here, and he looks down, and they're sitting on the table right where I told him that they were. And he said, they weren't there 2 minutes ago when I looked. I said, I believe you, because I think my mother moves things around for grins and giggles. In Lulu, I don't know where that's at. I love scrappy stuff. But yeah, I do believe in at least some ghosts. My hand is hurting today. I'm sorry. Teresa called it a nodule yesterday. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it is weird that we ended up living literally 5 minutes from where my mom's buried, because it's from where I was living when my mother passed. It's like an hour and a half drive. Okay, Kathy. I would say have fun at your doctor's appointment, but I know it's not going to be fun. Have a good day. I'll see you later on. Where's Lulu at, Beverly? What state? Just looking to see how much more I need to put together. Oh, okay. I wasn't aware that you're in Florida. Bye, Shirley. I don't know where Lulu is. I'm in Okeechobee. Do you know where that's at? Yeah, my one girlfriend finds dimes. Let's see. I want to find Lulu, Florida. Or you may have told me that you're from Florida, Beverly, and I spaced it. Southeast of Lake City. Let's see. From my weird little town. Oh, okay. You're about 4 hours north of me. Yeah, I'm in Okeechobee. I'm right above the lake in the center of the state. That big hole that looks like somebody stuck a stick in the state. Staked it through the heart. Little big that way. I don't know. I have to see how I want to put this together. Yeah. My friend Sophia is always finding dimes from her mom and her dad. I am a long way from Lake City. Yeah. I was just trying to find something that I know where it's at, that I could compare it to. My son and daughter-in-law live in Satsuma, which is in Palatka County, but that's over closer to Jacksonville, but kind of on the same horizontal line that you are. We actually live where I'm at in Okeechobee County is actually closer to Sebring. Coffee, crafts, and the supernatural. I don't know. Nancy, a few days ago, we never see cardinals down here. And a few days ago, I was standing in the kitchen. I looked out and there was a pair of cardinals in the tree out front. And I thought, well, that's weird. And then, I guess it was the next day, I saw that a friend of mine that I've known since my 35-year-old was in middle school had passed away. And I'm kind of wondering if she and my mom came to visit, because my mom knew her too. So, and I live in such a small town that before all this pandemic stuff started, I was walking through Walmart and I was kind of half thinking about my mom, but it wasn't like top of my mind. She'd just kind of been there because we used to go to Walmart together all the time. And this woman stopped me and she says, "Oh my God." She said, "You're Rachel's daughter." And Rachel is my mother. And I looked at her kind of funny and I said, "Yeah, I am." She says, "I knew your mom." Well, by this point, I mean, my mom died in 2004. So this was 2017, 2018. Oh, Kim, that's awesome. But this lady knew my mom. My mother sold mobile homes here before she passed. So she knew quite a few people out here. She knew quite a few of my neighbors currently. She probably sold them their houses. So I'm like, okay. She was like their number one salesperson for quite a few years. Of course, it's a small town and it doesn't take a whole lot to be the number one salesperson in a small town. You find white feathers on your car, you found pennies, and a pair of cardinals that greet you every morning in the winter at your living room window. Are cardinals migratory birds? I never know. I kind of assumed that's why I saw the cardinals until I found out about Susan. I figured they were migrating through. We get big flocks of like egrets and ibis and all those long-legged birds that aren't flamingos here. But they usually only stay a day or two at most. I'm always looking. But yeah. Marianne, she's been gone a long, long time. But sometimes it still feels like it was yesterday. She 2004 and it's 2022, so it's 18, 19 years. 18 going on 19, I guess, because she died in June of 2004. But yeah, she hangs out regularly. And Marianne, if you think that house was haunted, it probably was. The house that we live in here, the lot that we're on, when we first came out here, I was like, interesting. Do you feel something here? Turns out there used to be a house here that burnt down. I don't think anybody died in it, but the house that was here before us burnt down, which is why the mobile home that's here now has only been here 10 or 12 years before we bought it. And they had just repainted everything. It's still all nice inside. I just got to clean it up. But we like it. And we like being where we're at. Yeah, you need to definitely change that bobbin there, Colleen, because I think that would help. So what else are you guys working on today besides me being... You have cardinals all year in Western New York? Oh, okay. Do you feed them, Lori? Oh, Nancy, I'm sorry to hear that. That's almost a harder loss than all the others because that's the person who knows all your secrets and stuff. Yeah. I actually spent some time the other night texting with Susan's son. He was posting some questions about doing probate in Florida and this and that. And that used to be one of the areas that I worked in. I'm better versed in real estate, but I did do quite a few probate cases when I was still working for an attorney. And so I text messaged him and said, message me when you have a chance and I'll talk to you about some probate stuff. He's the only child. There shouldn't be any problem with him being able to get through all of it. But I don't think he has to file probate just to do the little bit of stuff he needs to do. But he is going to go see Florida Rural Legal Aid and see if they can help him take care of dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Biggest issue he's going to have is there's still a mortgage on mom's house. So he'll have to figure out with the mortgage company what they want to do. Which isn't bad. I mean, if that's the only issue you've got, hey, came out of it pretty good. In the Northeast, the Cardinals. Yeah, that may be why they stick close to your house. We have little white birds that like to hang out around the cows. I guess they groom the cows. And we don't have many of the other predator stuff or prey stuff out here, except for owls. We get owls. Yeah, Nancy, mine died in 2011. You may be procrastinating. Colleen, you're a brat is what you are. Procrastinating. All right, guys. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about today since I'm off in Lululand, Looney Land? If not, I'm going to say goodbye. Because like I said, I've got to move some furniture today. And I want to get a couple of videos recorded on using the Cricut to make the chicken salad blocks. I'm going to do the first one completely by hand, like we talked about. And then after that, I'll be using the Cricut to cut because my hands hurt too much to do all 12 blocks by hand. But I want to show you guys how to cut it by hand. We do have alligators also. We have alligators, and where I live at, we have bobcats, and we have armadillos, and we have skunks, and we have possums and all that. Hey, Patty C., how are you today? All right, I'm going to say bye to everybody. You guys have a great day, and I may see you later on, but probably not till Monday or Tuesday at this point, because I do have a lot of work I got to get done. Bye. Y'all have a great day. It was nice talking to everybody today.